Hi viewers, this is Vineet and with me I have got Indu.
Hi viewers.
So Indu has got 10 plus years of experience in market research and strategy industry wherein she has worked with companies like Jubilant Life Sciences, Markets, Frost and Sullivan, and she has also been an active participant in few of the startup building. So today we'll be talking about, is market research studies required for startups?
Yeah, so Vineet, before I step into answering that question, let me just quickly explain you the structure of these startups. There are majorly three types of startups: repetition business and innovation business. And the third one is social entrepreneurship. Let's keep social entrepreneurship aside and discuss about innovation and repetition business. In out of these two businesses, innovation business is more risky than repetition business, because you already have companies who have created examples and you already know the market out there. But in both the cases, you need market research. Why? Because in one case, you need to understand the addressable market in terms of the related products or the expected customers. In another case, you need to understand your competition, right? So let me explain you the structure of these startups. They are basically structured in 5 categories. The startup may be at the stage of conception, it can be at the stage of commitment, then traction, restructuring, scaling, and establishment.
So, what this commitment or restructuring or scaling, can you define it for us startup enthusiasts?
Yeah, so commitment is once you are convinced with the idea, you may have got the investment, you may not have got the investment, but you have a small team which is committed to work towards that idea to, get the market out there. Then traction, wherein you start gauging 1 or 2 initial sales.
Okay.
And then you have restructuring, wherein you have acquired some of the customer, you have got the feedback, and now you want to improve on your service and commit or product. Okay. Right? And then you want to scale up. Okay. Scaling up is, I think, very simple. Everybody understands.
Yeah. So we need market research studies for all these.
Yeah. So in all these 5 stages, from the stage 1 to stage 4, you need market research reports. Now, your initial question: why do they need that? So instead of asking, instead of answering you why do they need, I will answer why don't they usually opt for it. There are 4 major reasons they need. Number 1 is their association with the product or the service. They are so associated because they feel that they have done enough research and the data which
the
they
emotional
have,
bond.
Yeah, the emotional bond, right?
Yeah.
And it's with everybody.
Yeah, it happens even in the family when we have to talk about a family member. So it is always the positive thing that we talk about.
Right. Even in the established organization, if it's a new idea, there will be a set of people who will be associated because they were working on that idea. So similarly, so number 2 is biggest reason. They don't have they don't have funds. They lack funds.
Okay.
Because it's a startup. They have to invest in many other things. They have to build a team. They do not have enough money to buy these.
So do you think that these research are that expensive? Because I don't feel so. Market research is something, if you are investing or 12 lakhs, 15 lakhs or 20 lakhs as a budget for a startup, I believe research studies are not so expensive. So what's your thought on that?
See, it's important that you understand from where to buy. Today you go and hit the door of consulting company, it's going to charge a bomb. Right?
Yeah, true.
And it's not that they will not be able to provide you information at the cheaper price, but that's not. I don't personally don't suggest it in the beginning. I suggest that you should opt for a holistic study, maybe a syndicated or a custom study, wherein you initially have a holistic view of the market.
Okay. So what's the difference between a consulting company and market research company? Because for me, for the normal people, the startups or the people who do not belong to the industry, they feel that consulting company or market research company all are the same.
So I would say consulting is bit more deeper. Okay. So to give you an example, if I have to enter into supplements market, and I'm sure that I want to enter into supplements market, and I have made a strategy out there, but I do not know which supplement to start with in which geography, right?
Okay.
So you can always go for a cheaper version and a holistic version of the supplement market report, say for example, and you can identify which is the biggest, customer geography,
Okay.
and which ingredient you can basically tap into,
Okay.
depending on your expertise at your level,
Mhm.
your product level, and the market reach or the team strength you have in that particular geography.
Okay, so if I'm getting right, then these market research studies, they are generally they can generally help a client or a startup in order to understand the holistic market and the product that is present in the market. And once they have figured out where to invest, which country or which geographical area they have to get into, and what kind of product they have to or service they have to tap. Once they are aware about that, then they can knock doors of consulting company in order to get specific answers to the questions they have,
Yeah,
like go to market strategy, building, all those kind of things.
Yes, yes. So it reminded me of one of our case study which we did. There was this startup which visited a market research company. They wanted to enter a particular geography for baby care market, and they came up with a couple of brands which were prominent there.
Okay.
When they bought the report, they identified there were two more brands, and they were challenging that no, we could not find these brands in that geography. Because they ignored altogether the online channels.
Okay.
Right.
Ah.
The product must be present in that market, customers are there, but the outlets and the manufacturing is not there. So that is a possibility. You don't only look forward to identify what is being there and what to prioritize, but you also understand what you're lacking.
Okay.
Right. In day-to-day practice, if you're listing down something, there is a possibility. If you're making a guest list, say for example, we may miss one or two guests.
Yeah.
Right? So
that
it's a knock-knock.
Yeah. So, Indu, I wanted to understand when we talk about these market research studies, and when we talk about a budding entrepreneur, he'll say that you guys also do primaries. And I can also primary. I can also do primary. I can call up people. I can call up friends who are there in the industry, and they'll give me the insight about the industry. So what difference we are bringing in the report? Because we are also doing primary. We are also dependent on secondary data, which is already there on Google.
Right. So, for example, I'm a student of meteorology, and there's a weather forecast that it is going to rain tomorrow. And I say, no, I have made, I'm a meteorology student, I understand this very well, and according to me, it's going to be cloudy, it's not going to rain.
Okay.
But what if it rains tomorrow? So it's better to keep an umbrella.
So one last question that I have. So now we can see that the market, the entire industry is moving towards AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, and all these concepts, it is said to be going to, these concepts would be disrupting the entire industry. So if, for example, a startup enthusiast say that we can just run a script on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter in order to understand a customer behavior about a particular product. Say there is a case where a company wants to know which is the most used hair color in, say, Indian market, and he runs a script on social media platforms, and the most number of keywords that is being discussed, say ombre is the keyword that is being discussed among all the platforms. It has got the heaviest number of traffic. So that becomes, since it's the most discussed color, so that becomes the most used color. That's a wild guess, or I would say that's the closest guess that he does, wherein he feels that this is the most favorite color that Indian people would be going for.
Right. So
don't you think that this is the right way of doing market research? This is the future of market research, and primary is not required anymore?
So, Vineet, it's not about conducting primary interviews or relying on totally on secondary or relying on AI.
Okay.
First of all, if you say that robotic surgeries are there in the market, is it going to eliminate the doctors? No, it is not.
No.
You always need an expert, to understand the numbers.
Okay.
Right? The data which is collected is not always significant. You have to see whether the data makes sense or not. right?
True.
So understanding of data, building forecasting models, the kind of factors you are using, those are very, very important. Today, for example, golden color is used, the most. You identify that through survey. But for example, I start interviewing these manufacturers, and I get to know it's not golden which is earning the maximum amount of money. It's not churning. It's not the major market from which they earn money. Isn't it an insight or information which should be used?
Yeah, that will create a lot of confusion in the minds of the user, because through script he will be getting ombre, and through the data through manufacturers or golden, and through manufacturers data it would be something else.
Yeah, so that's where you need these forecasting model, validation tools, trade inputs, which these market research companies have reached you.
Okay. So I believe that we have mostly covered all the reasons why a market research report should be bought by entrepreneurs, startups, and in case you guys have your own reasons why you should not buy a market research study, please put those reasons below in the comments so that we can discuss out those reasons in our next video. In case you guys have any question regarding market research, usage of market research report, or how we can procure market research, we would be happy to make a video on that, because market research is not expensive. There are so many good companies out there who's doing industry research, market research. You can approach them and you can get answers to all your questions. Thank you viewers for viewing our video, and we'd love to meet you in our next video.
Thank you, viewers, for your time.